I remember a time in my life when I was desperately praying for an answer. I was on my knees every night, pleading with God, asking Him to move, to show up, to make a way where there seemed to be none. But instead of a breakthrough, I got silence. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and still nothing. I started questioning everything. Had I done something wrong? Had I not prayed hard enough? Did God forget about me? I was stuck in that painful season of waiting, and let me tell you, waiting is hard. When things start falling apart, they're actually falling into place. But here's what I've learned. God will always remove what is in the way of His plan for your life. Sometimes what feels like rejection is actually protection. Sometimes what feels like a setback is actually a setup for something greater. I had a friend who was heartbroken when a job opportunity he had been praying for fell through. He had prepared for months, given his best, and when the rejection came, he was devastated. But what he didn't know at the time was that God was leading him somewhere better. Months later, he got an offer for a position that was beyond what he ever expected. Better pay, better opportunities, and the perfect place for him to grow. And do you know what he said? If I had gotten the first job, I would have settled for less than what God had for me. Maybe you're experiencing that right now. Maybe things in your life are falling apart. Maybe doors are closing, people are leaving, and nothing is going according to your plan. When God says wait, if that's you, He means I want you to hear this. Let's be real. Don't panic. Waiting is uncomfortable for what He's about. Think about a baker preparing bread now. The dough has to sit. We want answers now. If you take it out too early, and let me say this, but if God gave you everything you prayed for the moment you asked, He's allowing there and complain, to be strengthened, to grow, so that when your blessing comes, you'll be able to handle it. You can let frustration weaken your faith, or you can let it strengthen you. There was a time when I was asking God for an opportunity, for something big to happen in my life. And instead of giving me what I prayed for immediately, He gave me small moments to prepare. At first, I didn't see it. I thought, God, this isn't what I asked for. But later, I realized every little step, every moment of growth, every small challenge was leading me to the place I had been praying for. God is not just preparing your blessing, He's preparing you for the blessing. Have you ever noticed that right before something great happens, the battle gets harder, the doubts get louder, the obstacles get bigger? Everything seems to go wrong at the last minute. That's because the enemy fights hardest when he knows you're close to a breakthrough. Think about a woman in labor. The pain is the worst right before the baby is born. The pressure is the heaviest right before the breakthrough comes. And the same is true in your spiritual life. I remember a time in my life when I felt like I was being crushed under the weight of trials. It seemed like everywhere I turned, I was met with resistance. No matter how hard I tried, things just wouldn't fall into place. I was praying, believing, doing everything I thought I was supposed to do, yet life kept getting harder. One night I sat in my car after yet another disappointment, tears rolling down my face, feeling completely defeated. I asked God, why? Why is this happening? I thought I was doing everything right. I thought you had a plan for me. So why does it feel like I'm drowning? And in that still, quiet moment, I felt God speak into my heart. You're not being buried, you're being planted. It was then that I realized something powerful. Pressure is not meant to destroy you, it's meant to prepare you. Think about how diamonds are formed. A diamond starts as nothing more than a piece of coal. But through immense pressure and intense heat, it transforms into something valuable, something unbreakable. Without the pressure, it would remain ordinary. It's the same with you. The moments of pressure in your life, the hardships, the setbacks, the obstacles, are not there to break you. They are there to shape you into the person God is calling you to be. Look at the life of Joseph in the Bible. He had dreams of greatness, dreams that God Himself had given him. But before he ever saw those dreams come to pass, he was betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, and wrongfully imprisoned. Everything that could go wrong. Can you imagine what he must have felt? Can you imagine the confusion, the pain, the overwhelming sense of abandonment? Yet, through it all, God was preparing him. Every trial, every betrayal, every moment of hardship was leading him closer to the promise. And when the time was right, Joseph didn't just survive, he was promoted from the pit to the palace, from forgotten to favored. That's what God does. He takes the very things meant to break you and uses them to build you. Have you ever noticed that the attacks get stronger when you're on the verge of something big? The doubt creeps in. The anxiety gets worse. People start turning on you. Opportunities that seem certain suddenly disappear. That's not a coincidence. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't valuable. If you feel like all hell has broken loose in your life, take it as a sign. You are getting closer to something significant. The devil doesn't waste his energy on someone who isn't a threat. The fact that you're experiencing this level of pressure means that God is getting ready to elevate you. I've seen this in my own life. Every single time I was about to step into a new season of blessing, the warfare increased. It felt like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I started to wonder if maybe I had missed God's direction, if maybe I had done something wrong. But now, looking back, I realized that the moments of greatest resistance were actually confirmations. If the enemy is fighting you, it means you're carrying something valuable. Don't give up now.